Issues like racism, sexism, and prejudice against underrepresented communities are becoming more widespread. And to many, these topics can seem scary, daunting, and even uncomfortable to talk about. So how can we, as a society, find a way to have meaningful conversations about these hardships? I know it sounds weird, but my tool of choice is comedy. I was born in Louisville, Kentucky. When I was in elementary school, my family moved to San Diego. One of the reasons we moved is because my family wanted to live in a more diverse place with less prejudice. Plus, snow and slush suck. When I moved here to San Diego, it felt so much more comfortable being surrounded by people who looked like me and my family. Later, I was introduced to stand-up comedy. It was so amazing to see comics who looked like me using their words to make me laugh. So, I decided to learn more. Stand-up has its roots in the early 1840s as minstrel shows in the United States. These shows often perpetuated harmful, oppressive stereotypes. During the Industrial Revolution, the comedy scene evolved into burlesque shows that still depicted stereotypes and used sexual innuendos to make the audience laugh. These shows became less popular by the 1940s. By the 70s, comedians would start using their platforms to break social norms. Coffee shops and bars started having comedy nights, paving new ways to the comedic stage. This leads us to today. With many new diverse comics, online streaming platforms, and social media, comedy is more accessible and active than ever. Comedians are reclaiming an art form once rooted in bigotry, and some are changing the script to actively fight against stereotypes. Which leads us to the question, how exactly do comedians talk about social justice? Is it effective? And if so, why is it so important? So I sat down with professional comedians to see what they think.
You know, I think that stand-up comedy is one of the most powerful art forms. If you're willing to risk being the type of comic who shares, but I like the ones that are willing to use comedy sort of as a healing process.
My name is Diana. I'm a stand-up comic based out of LA. I'm also a writer. We'll see in like a month if I need to be an Uber driver. Like, times are tough right now. On a personal level, like, I always feel like I vibe with someone more when we're able to talk about things that throw us off. And like sometimes, like, as people, we don't know how to navigate that properly. Stand up for me is a way to communicate and tell my side of the story and like how I navigated certain things.
The most change can come in society through jokes. It's like a Trojan horse to get ideas into people's minds. It's some sort of weird inception thing where you can speak a truth looking someone directly in the eyes, and if they laugh, it kind of disarms them.
The goal of a comedian is to speak on topics that perhaps are taboo or hard to talk about, and to normalize them, if anything else.
But the social justice aspect is if you walk into the Crow and you're homophobic or transphobic, and I happen to book a killer comic who also happens to be trans, and they make you laugh, and all of a sudden you are less transphobic and less homophobic because now this person is real, they're sparking joy in you, and it just deteriorates the hate.
Talking with all these comedians really inspired me. I love performing and I've always wanted to try stand-up. So then I got to thinking, can a little guy like me write a stand-up set? So naturally, I had to get writing. Yeah, I have no idea where to start.
Jokes, when you write material, it shouldn't come from a place of like, this is funny. Writing for jokes, it's typically about topics that are weird, scary, stupid, or hard.
Thought that being a good comedian meant like sitting down and writing, pen to paper for hours. That's not it at all. A lot of my process is just living life, experiencing life, making sure I take care of myself. Just ideas start flowing. Like I'll get crazy like punchlines and premises, and then as soon as those come, then I'm writing them down on my phone.
This was a lot to process. I'm gonna need to crack open a cold one. Apple juice, obviously. Then, I had a meeting with Nicole Blaine. We met just to talk, get advice, and discuss logistics about me doing this.
Did you want to perform on that show, or did you want to perform at the open mic before it?
I mean, I was hoping, maybe we could discuss that. Like, what would be easier for you? Because
I'll put you on the show. I would rather you be able to have an audience. I don't know who's going to come to the open mic and how populated it would be, but to like give you the full experience, like do it.
wow. Okay, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. That is when it really hit me. I wanted to write about my experiences with racism growing up. As I wrote my set, I realized how important every single word is while doing stand-up, especially when talking about social justice. When you're on stage, you have no backup dancers, no ensemble to go along with you. It's just you, a mic, a stool, a wall, and your words. I had compiled all of my ideas. Now, I just needed a good opener. After weeks of editing and rewriting and banging my head against a wall and then more editing and more rewriting and banging my head against a different wall, I finally had something I was proud of. However, there was a certain unspoken weight to this. Nicole had given me an amazing opportunity. I realized I wasn't performing someone else's script, this was mine, and about me. So it's an hour and a half till show. I'm like beyond terrified right now. I'm excited, but I also have no idea how it's gonna go. I think it's gonna go well. I need to pee, puke, fart, poop. I need to do all of them right now, just out of the nervousness. I think it'll go good. It'll go good. It'll go good. But it might not. But it might. But it will. I think it's gonna be okay. I paced nervously while waiting for the show to start, rehearsing lines in my head. I saw the lineup and I was dead last. I was headlining. And then, I heard the words I was so anxious to hear.
Hi y'all, I'm Paz. I'm 16, almost an adult. And the other day, a waiter gave me a kid's menu and a crayon and asked if I wanted apple juice with my chicken nuggets. And I said yes! I love chicken nuggets and I love apple juice. And I will be 45 at a nice restaurant and be like, excuse me, Mr. Waiterman, can I get an apple juice, please? No, I don't need a lid on the cup. I was born in one of the most liberal places out there, Kentucky. I know, not what you expect from someone who looks like me. I'm not a fried chicken. I'm Filipino-American. My mom is Filipina. No, she's not a nurse. My dad is American. He's not in the military. But my mom is a badass and even was in elementary school. Kids on the bus would harass her. They'd be like, hey, you, go back home, or speak Chinese, or show us some karate moves. And my mom was like, okay, I will show you, and I will bite you so you will not see. My mom fought a bunch of racist kids, and won. I like imagining her fights like scenes out of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, like wire work included. Like. In my elementary school, there was this annoying kid named Jason. He also lived down the street from a KFC. He would make fun of me for being Asian all the time. It made me want to rip my hair out, and then his. Because at that time, I couldn't figure out what made me so different from him. We like the same video games, same movies. We both liked apple juice. And so I went to my mom, and I was like, should I fight him? Should I bring him to his knees? And she said, no, Jason does not know any better. When I fought my bullies, I did not know any better either. But you do know better, and should do better. So again, Jason started harassing me at the school cafeteria. So like, do you eat dog? And at first I was like, no, leave me alone. But he kept pushing. Soon his friends were joining in. Oh, there's Paz, you're Chinese, you eat dog, ew. I had had enough. I stood up 4 feet tall. I clenched my little fists to punch his stupid face. But I remembered my mom. Racism isn't fought with violence. Plus, she is tough and strong while I have the fighting ability of an inflatable tube man. Again, Jason, he started, so what kind of dog do you eat? You have a golden retriever, right? Yeah? Why? Well, he was delicious. Thank you, Santa Monica.
I remember just this feeling of like, wow, like when you're laughing, like the world doesn't suck.
Laughter is infectious, but it's also comforting. Humor can help people find shelter in their identities, yet it can connect us all. So I urge you, the next time life feels overwhelming or unfair, try to find some humor in the situation. Simply put, stand up, speak up.